January 6th. Welcome to 2020, 6 p.m. work session. So if we could have a roll call, please.
Shannon?
Present.
Leek?
Here.
Hancy?
Here.
Leek?
Here.
Edwards? Here. Morse? Day.
All right. I did speak to Robert. I'm not sure he's going to be able to make the meeting. So our first item is our 2020 priorities. Bart, did we want to go ahead and start with Van Meter first? Sorry.
There's like 4 plates up or just one?
Surprise us.
So tonight we have Van Meter with us at the work session because since our last meeting, we had meetings with them to discuss some of our concerns, and so they have come up with a new proposal. This is significantly different than the proposal you guys saw last month. So what I've asked them to do is to come this evening to provide kind of an informational presentation to the council. This will go back to the Planning Commission. I was also hoping in work session we could discuss if there is an interest in doing a joint public hearing with the Planning Commission, and then Councilman Shannon can assist us with scheduling that, or if you guys want to leave the meeting separate. So I'm going to have Denise Harrover come up and do their quick informational presentation, and then they also brought in with them the school, so they can give you guys information as well of what they want to do on the site.
Okay. And just for time clarification, do we have a idea or range of how many minutes it would be?
So I would say based on our other work session items, 30-minute would be our cutoff tonight, so.
Okay.
if that
All
works
right.
for you
Just want to make
guys.
sure that we have a proper planning for everything else.
Thank you.
Yep. Hi. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. Denise Harrover with Van Meter with Roy Barnett. And I wanted to thank you guys for accommodating us coming in this evening. As Emily mentioned, there's been a few changes since we last met with you, based on some issues that were raised at the council meeting, and based on some questions that were raised. So quickly, this was the original layout as shown, 38 towns with no direct connection to Hunting Path, with the entrance coming off of Washington Street. What we have done after meeting with you and Emily, Mayor in particular, was take a look at moving the daycare site. Can I speak to you?
Sure.
guys for a
Sure.
minute?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just grab the. Yep.
So originally, what we had was the daycare site was basically eating up all of the frontage on Washington Street. And in our discussions, it was brought to our attention that there was hope that we would be able to provide maybe a little more commercial or maybe a little more of a mixed use along Washington Street, and to also look at this potential daycare school site to have it having some frontage along Washington Street as well. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Thank you. So instead of the daycare site being basically the entire frontage, what we've done is we've shifted it. We have moved the building so that the entrance will be facing along the internal road, but then we will also have an entrance facing Washington Street. In shifting, we had to reallocate where our units would be located. We also added a direct connection from our internal pedestrian network to Hunting Path Road, as that was a request or a question that was raised at the council meeting. We have added some streetlights based on some of the concerns raised by the local residents to our north. We do have direct access, pedestrian access along our internal street. And we are also looking at adding dedicated exit lanes that would make a right and a left out of the site. This slide shows you the school site flipped. Originally, we had more of the outdoor playground area located along Washington, what we've done is we have shifted the building so that you have a main entry focal point along Washington and pushed it so that the play area is now located north. In reality, this is a nice fit because of what it does is it gives you this play area and it gives you this parking area as you're, butting up to the back of these townhouses. It's a natural break between the uses. It has also allowed us to go ahead and fit this particular area with a site that could, under B1 with a special use, be a combination of commercial and residential. So this building at 2 stories, which would meet the 50-foot height requirement, would allow for approximately 5,000 to 6,000 square feet, which easily could have a 1 floor of 2,500 square feet for retail or commercial, and then allow for approximately 2 apartments or more on the top floor. We were also able to get the parking that would be necessary for that use on the site as well, and then begin the townhome programming once again. To that end, we have asked Lynn, who is the owner and she's under contract with us for this particular site of Carter School. There were a number of questions that were asked of us about the type of school and programming that they would be offering. So I will let her speak to that a little more here in a moment. But if you wouldn't mind going to the elevation. Oh, yeah. There we go. So this would be the elevation of the Carter School if you're looking at Washington Street. So if you were to come into this site, what you see here is a fence detail that was actually picked up from an adjoining subdivision. This particular fence was used on the corner, just about 2 blocks east of here. And then this would be the entrance connecting to the main sidewalk along Washington Street. So it gives you that frontage that everyone has had some concern about making sure was preserved, that you have frontage connecting to Washington Street. With that, we're happy to answer any other questions you may have. We did not lose any parking spaces. We are still providing, I think the requirement was 86. We're still at about 106. So we do have the additional parking that we were providing from the original in this particular project as well. With this new layout, we will have to request a waiver because we are exceeding the 40% lot coverage ratio. When we get to site plan, that number may actually go down once we have determined the size of the stormwater management pond need, but that is one of the waivers that we know we have exceeded.
One question. The same number of townhouses?
Yes.
Okay.
We were able to accommodate this change because in the original plan, we had preserved, actually it wasn't required, but we had reserved a larger buffer between the Longwood community. We were able to shift into that area and still preserve. We still have a 15-foot buffer between the back of those townhouses, property line, and Longwood. We could even push more if we wanted and still meet the requirements. But that is what allowed us to actually look at shifting the school site so that we had the ability to get the playground size that they would need.
And that back gate is just a pad entrance back by the play area? That's just a pedestrian entrance
This is just
there?
a sidewalk.
Sidewalk, okay.
Just a sidewalk only, correct. There were some concerns raised that if the folks that do live to the north of this project wanted to come down this particular side of the road, we are putting a sidewalk in along the western side of our site, but as you all know, that there is no connecting sidewalk to finish all the way to Washington. This would allow the folks in Longwood to come through here and be able to make that connection.
And just for the clarification too, Denise, now that we've shifted the driveway entrance, does it line up with anything close with the other, have to zoom in to see, where would it actually line up with on the other side of the property, to the south?
So it won't line up with anything directly. If you look just to the right under the word state, that will be the driveway for the roofing office that's currently there.
Okay, and Marias is,
Marias is right there.
okay,
So, and Marias is a right out only, and you cannot turn left into it as you approach on Washington Street headed west.
and of course, another question I have is, so there will be a dedicated turn lane coming in, if you're coming in from the east to the west, right through there?
Yes,
Right.
we do show a dedicated turn lane that we've actually had analysis performed to make sure that we weren't building a turn lane larger or longer than necessary. But this does allow for a taper that comes in here so that you will have your traffic be able to get out of your Washington Street traffic flow in order to get in to make the right.
So currently, that's probably all sidewalk now, right? It's all curb sidewalk that will be then carved in. Basically, you'll be replacing all that sidewalk area.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Ms. Edwards?
Can you clarify as to why you think this is the better plan than the previous plan? I mean, and what comments are you addressing that brought you to this?
I could probably, you want me to
I'm
start?
asking her.
Okay, that's fine. She's going to say it to me, but go ahead.
In discussions with the mayor and also sitting down with Emily, there was some concern about trying to preserve some commercial, more commercial than just having the school site here. So when we started looking at how could we bring some commercial mix to this site along Washington Street, the only piece that could really be moved was the school site. We did not want to push the school site further north, immediately adjacent to the existing neighborhood. We felt that it had a better presence, and being of a commercial use, if you will, it belonged along Washington Street. So in order to try to preserve and bring a little more commercial / retail to Washington Street, we just played with that site and moved it around. And we're able to accommodate bringing a little more commercial mixed retail. Like with most projects, the more we go through these processes and hear feedback, not only from Planning Commission, but Town Council and staff, some projects end up better than the day we, started with them. And we feel that this has really kind of turning the school has actually probably provided a better buffer, a better layout, and also a more effective transportation plan for traffic movement throughout this particular section of the project.
I just didn't hear any comments from the residents that indicated that they were interested in more retail, so that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, that was not a direct comment from the resident.
Okay, thank you.
So the building on the left there, as you enter, that's a retail space, and you're talking about having apartments on top?
It could be.
Okay.
What we are looking at here is allowing for the potential for commercial or retail on the first floor. Obviously, timing is everything in the marketplace.
Because that's what, in kind of answer to Vice Mayor's, that some of the folks I talked to, that was kind of some of their concerns. There's some concerns with townhouses in there, and I understand that, but they were concerned about store frontage, what type of businesses, like what's going on right around the corner around here and everything. So this helps that out. I can't wait to see what the plans are for that second building there, that small one. That's interesting, and I like that for some type of commercial, because that's right there on the road as well, so.
We also believe with the footprint that we're showing, and obviously when we get the site plan, we'll get into more detail, this actually even shows patio seating outside, so that you could look at maybe a small sit-down restaurant type use, or coffee. mixed use. And like I said, once we started moving the pieces around, we feel that this really kind of brings all the pieces together that we've heard.
Okay. Other comments from other council? Councilman Leak?
As however, in regards to Washington Street traveling from west to eastern side, has the thought been given to add in a left-hand turn lane? I know that would require you to give up more of that property, but with stacking that already occurs on Washington Street with Haymarket Baptist, I think it's definitely something to consider and look at. Has that been something that you've spoken with in regards to your development team?
We actually had a traffic impact analysis completed. That did not trigger this particular, the way the counts were provided, did not trigger the need for a turn lane off of Washington Street.
When was your TIA done?
We have had the TIA updated to reflect the change with the turn lane coming in and both the exit lanes coming out. My guess is October was probably when the final analysis for this particular configuration was looked at.
Could you provide us with a courtesy copy to review, or has that already been provided to the Planning Commission? Awesome. I'll get it from Ms. Lockhart. In regards to those driveways, I'm assuming those are double wide for 2 vehicles?
Yes.
Or are those single? Excellent. Visitor parking, how many visitor spots do you have for those townhomes, roughly speaking? I know that this is not a final site plan, but do you have a rough estimate of what is provided?
Sure. Technically, we are required to provide 86 spaces per the town's requirement. We're actually providing 106, so we have an additional 20 spaces. If you look at 38 units and you can park 2 in the driveway, and of course there is a garage, we feel that we have addressed the 20 additional units is almost 1 per unit, a little less than 1 per unit. We also feel that we have some potential here with cross use, of course, but we feel that we have adequately overparked.
What is the, my concern here that we have is in some of the designs of some of our current communities is, one, parking is lacking in regards to visitor. There's a lot of on-street parking, which unfortunately does not allow for fire trucks and apparatuses to easily be able to maneuver throughout those communities. And so that is one of my concerns with seeing how possibly narrow those roads may be, is to be able to get a full tower apparatus throughout that without having to scrape, move, jump curbs, the whole 9 yards. So that's one of my concerns there.
If I may speak to that,
Of course.
we have made sure that an auto turn analysis is done on this site to ensure that any engine would be able to navigate, because all of our parking is actually, there will not be any parking allowed, if you will, along the road. There are dedicated parking spaces. So the auto turn analysis does show that they would be able to navigate.
Excellent. So then all that curb and gutter there would be particularly painted then yellow to not allow for on-street parking?
Obviously, that gets covered through the site plan and whatever the fire marshal wants us to do, whether it's painted or signed, we're happy to comply.
How much square footage is that upper pad, that lower left pad site in regards to that commercial use, that lower left there?
We're guesstimating at this point between 5,000 and 6,000 square feet total for 2 stories.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Ms. Harrell.
Your school's lot, how big is it, the school?
The school lot, 2 acres.
2 acres, and building size?
We are 17,000 square feet. 2 level.
17,000 square feet. Oh, this is 2 level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I'm more than happy to have the school folks go over their program if you'd like.
Sure, for essence of time, and there again, this is just, we're getting the first glance at this, so obviously it's going to go through its process, but I think we saw value of coming on this work session and showing it to us, and I appreciate their time to come out. So if any other questions, otherwise I think the school would like to probably come up and welcome again.
Hello, hi. So I'm the owner-operator of the Carter School, and we currently have 4 locations in Northern Virginia, one in Ashburn, one in Sterling, 2 in South Riding, and we're hoping to have the 5th location here. So Carter School is a gifted STEAM preschool program serving children from 6 weeks to 14 years old. So just give you a little bit about my background. My career, I'm an engineer. I'm really passionate about STEAM. And so when I have my 2 kids, I was looking for school to put my kids in, and I didn't find anything that had the one-stop shop that would teach my kids how to code as early as 3-year-olds. So I was like, ooh. I wanted to teach children to code early, not coding, but actually learning how to problem solve and team building and all of that. So I created a unique program. I tested out in South Riding. We actually have about over 100 kids on wait list. If you want to get in our programs, it's kind of a 2 years wait list. I have parents that asking me, hey, we wanted something in Ashburn area, Sterling. So we opened the Sterling location about 8 months ago, and we again have a wait list there. So the need is because you have a lot of high-tech company, both professional parents working, they're looking for a program that we're offering. And I have parents that are driven from Haymarket all the way to South Riding that asked me to come out here, so here I am. So Kit and I own 4 schools in Northern Virginia. We have Carter School, Carter Montessori, and Kids Are Kids. I'm an entrepreneur, founder of spa and other stuff, restaurant, IT consulting. But my passion is in early childhood education. I attended Harvard University Woods Institute, teaching children programmable robots for preschool. I also trained at the MIT Media Labs, teaching preschooler and elementary students how to code. I trained at Stevens Institute. So as you can see, this is my passion. I've been trained in really world top renowned schools to teach early ed how to do coding. And I'm a national speaker implementing STEAM for gifted youth. So these are things that you can see. Our program, we're not a child care. We actually teaching children how to do binary as early as 3-year-old. That's some of the stuff that we're doing. We're working directly with some of the research institute, and some of the program that we bring here is we are going to be the first in the country that teaching artificial intelligence as early as 4 and 5-year-old. So these are something that, go to the next one. The total investment we will be putting into the school, Carter School Haymarket is $7 million. We're looking at $4 million in revenue and annual tax of $500,000. We will be creating 60 new jobs with full benefits, and our hours of operation is from 6:30 to 6:30. So these are just, the average tuition is about $1,700 a month, and after school is about $800 a month. We provide discount and scholarship to community service members such as firefighter teachers. So if you come in and you show us that you're working at, for example, like council member, anybody that shows that they work for the government, we give a childcare discount and sometimes free tuition, depending on the needs. Any questions?
No, just continue if you.
Oh,
if you have
okay.
any-
Oh, that's
yeah.
more.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. So why Carter School is the right fit for Haymarket? We attract parents that want strong STEAM gifted program in the neighborhood. We create 60 new jobs for local residents. We bring more people in the town area and that spend local money. So for example, some of the business that we see follow us is Orange Theory and restaurant. So it's a natural fit. When you see a Carter School or Kids Are Kids, you will see an Orange Theory nearby. The elevation.
I'm just concerned that you don't have enough education.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm being facetious there. That's very impressive.
Okay, is that it for the presentation for? Oh, okay, great. So does the council have any questions for her? Okay.
Just
Yeah.
one, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Good evening, and
Good
I
evening.
apologize for being late. In your opinion, do you think your school will offer any competition to any other local schools?
I think our program is very unique. We offering an additional options for parents. So usually I say we're an additional option out there that's not available. So for example, in South Riding within 3 miles radius, there are probably about 15 preschools out there, but yet people coming to us and we have a wait list. So obviously there would that kind of services provided to the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how many kids you are expecting on this location?
We're looking at 250 students.
Okay.
And typically, do those would be any kind of siblings? In other words, it would be, is there a percentage for that? Is that actually 250, basically pick up and drop-offs? Or is that
No,
a more of a?
Usually parents don't want to pick up and drop off at 2 locations, so we have families, with like 2 or 3 children, like a mom with 2 or 3 children that just pick up and drop off.
Oh, I see.
from
So they
us.
maybe commute to the location?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And 250 students is not all preschool student, it's after school, so we have school bus that come pick up, so each school bus is about 14 students.
Oh, okay. All right.
Morning shuttles to the upper school, and then afternoon we pick from that upper school and brings it back.
Okay. Other questions? Anyone?
No, by right use, I have no questions for it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for coming and sharing what you actually do. This is very informative. Yeah. Thank you. We could get the lights again. And Miss Emily, if you could grab the mic or be able to. So for the next step on this process, I guess go ahead, I'll let you.
Yes, so for the next step, for Van Meter, we will take this back to the Planning Commission since there was a significant change to what you guys saw at the last meeting. So their next meeting is January 21st. They have a 6 p.m. work session for their comprehensive plan. We'd like to keep that for the plan. And then they have a 7 o'clock regular meeting. It is a Tuesday because of the holiday on that Monday. So I was going to propose, if the council would like to, we can do a joint public hearing. If you would like to keep them separate, I can do a planning commission public hearing on the 21st, and then depending on how they vote and what their feelings are, we can come back to the council in February or March accordingly.
Okay. All right. So I guess it would be up to the council. What?
I'm not opposed to a joint personally, but I can go either way, whatever works.
Okay. Councilman Leak?
I am out of town on the 21st. This is something I would like to be here for. So I would ask council, if possible, to either request the planning commission to join us at our regularly scheduled February meeting for a joint session, or if they held theirs and then we could hold ours. I'm always up for 2. It gives the public 2 chances to come and speak, as well as for people's schedules. It allows them to then, if they can't make it Tuesday, maybe they can make a Monday, and we can go from there.
Okay. Councilman
I'm
Panthy, any?
open.
Either way. Vice Mayor?
I agree with Connor.
Okay,
I'm open, sir.
okay, all right, great.
So it sounds like probably a good idea to hold the two separate nights. Like Connor was saying, we can have a Tuesday and a Monday night. So I will proceed with a January 21st, 7 p.m. Planning Commission public hearing.
Right. And of course, you'll put out the notices.
Yes, it will go
First
out
one.
the week prior.
Okay, great.
That's a good point, too, having, in case somebody can't make one, they can make the other. I think that's a good idea.
So,
Good.
are we going to close this other public hearing?
Oh, yeah,
that's,
it's
like,
on my agenda.
wafting out there? And-
My agenda is to
Okay.
close it. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. All right. Okay. I think not unless Van Meter has anything else further to say. Great. We appreciate sincerely you all coming out. All right. Our next item is on our agenda here is our 2020 priorities. Mr. Kuhn, you, I think, asked for this to be able to figure out where we are and what we have left to do on this term here.
Yes. So, good evening. What I wanted to do, this is January, so if town council can just kind of give staff kind of priorities, goals for us to hit, objectives, so this way we know moving forward these are the things that you all want us to do, and we'll continue to do them. It's just I like to make sure everything's articulated at the beginning of the year, so we know what to do moving forward.
Right. I think as we started down this path, we started the year, or started the term, with some goals and thoughts. As the year has presented us with different challenges and different things, I guess it's a time to reflect if there's anything else that we could hone in over the next 6 months of trying to either accomplish or to put us in the right footings. I know that the sidewalk project was something we brought up a couple of meetings ago, of just trying to get that, at least some type of game plan for that, of what streets that we could continue to work on or to budget for or have a long-term vision for, and then any other thoughts that we had at the time.
I don't recall any that we hadn't already discussed.
Okay. Councilman Lee, Panthy, Vice Mayor. Yeah.
I mean, the ARB ones we're working towards, so. Really.
Okay.
My main concern is we want to finish all our sidewalk. It's not only our street, there is a lots of place, people, they don't have a sidewalk, so we want to finish those.
Just for clarification, so something similar to like pedestrian safety, like in the walkway, so that way we make sure that crosswalks that need to be painted are painted, sidewalks that aren't finished need to be finished, and then any, avoid tripping hazards, avoid clearing brush and things like that. That's kind of where you're saying.
Yes.
Just to.
Well, there's one other on Fayette Street. I will just tell you, VDOT doesn't do sidewalks. I mean, we won't go put in sidewalks. But it would be nice. I don't know if the county would be willing to try to help out or what, but this out here, Fayette Street needs sidewalk.
Yep, it's really dangerous.
We just come in tonight, Julie and I walking up here, there's kids and it's dark, and they're out there on rollerboards and stuff like that, and cars coming down. In fact, one of them was coming down kind of quick there, a big pickup. But I don't know if, I don't know even that process. Mr. Mayor, you might know, or the Vice Mayor, how we could go about maybe, whether it's getting with Supervisor Canlin's office or whatever, to get them to help support us. We need a sidewalk on that road, especially with the new houses coming on now. And who knows what's going to happen now with one house that's for sale in that big lot. Whether somebody's going to buy that and put 3 more houses up there or 4 more houses or whatever. We need a sidewalk on Fayette Street.
We can check with Mr. Camlin's office and see if they have any.
Yes, because as you all probably remember, we were trying to get the funding to go from the bridge over to Heathcote. And that was back in March of last year, that we had communication with him that he found about $2 million in the budget, and that he was going to direct his staff to work on that, just to do that. And I don't believe, I'll look at Miss Emily, but I don't believe we've heard from his office or had any follow-up with him just for that project.
Yeah, and the good
Yeah.
thing is, I mean, that would not be a $2 million project. If he's got $2 million, I'd be willing to bet that project's not going to cost $2 million.
Wouldn't think so.
It's going to be expensive, because that's a long walk, and it's needed too. I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just saying whether we prioritize, I mean, you know, that, or residential street, you know, where's the priority lie there? So I think if we just bring it up to Supervisor Canlon's office to see what the feasibility is or how they can help out or whatever.
Personally, myself, I have, you know, as vice president of the HOA, I have sent him email, and I was making pamphlet to, you know, sign all the residents, and, you know, our street need a sidewalk. I call him, I talk to him. After that, I have not received any response from him.
Okay. Maybe something with staff with Katie that we can, this should be engineering to be able to figure out this distance, what are we really looking at? I mean, cost-wise, time-wise, budget-wise, to be able to, you know, is this something that could be a plan to do in stages? I don't know. But I think we have some internal staff that can help
Sure.
at least get some preliminary information.
And it could, because of the right-of-way out there, and the utilities basically being right there on the right-of-way with a ditch line, it's not as simple as just going in and cutting in the sidewalk. I mean, because there could be utilities, that's where it gets expensive. Anytime you have to move utilities, it's astronomical. So if it was as simple as just going out there, throwing down, you know, doing some site work and throwing down cement or something, you know, that's not a super expensive project, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Yep.
So I think, I agree with you, Mr. Mayor. We just, you know, take a look, and we've got some smart folks here and everything, and see what the feasibility is and everything.
And also, what's the status of fixing the crosswalks? That was on our priority list, was it not?
Or if we're talking about fixing or restriping or repainting, or, because we did our sidewalks from, all the way from almost McDonald's to Green
Yeah,
Hill,
but there's,
as far as the sidewalk pavers. The crosswalks,
Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the last place we left it off this summer was when we were discussing the future paving of Washington Street, that
Correct.
gave us a timeline to come in this calendar year to go back and do the crosswalks either prior or right after they did the paving on Washington Street.
Well, when we talked about it, it was right after. What we're going to do is 55 is getting paved next year. And they're talking about, what we talked about was they're going to go right over it. It's going to be a regular crosswalk, and then after the fact, come in with pavers. I'm sorry, with concrete, stamped concrete and everything, I think is what we talked about.
And that gave us up to 6 months to do that after the paving, correct? We had like
Yeah,
a certain
I
timeline.
I mean, it's, you can do that. Once the road's paved, you can do it whenever. But I don't.
How does scheduling happen for those projects?
We won't know until the contracts are being let now for 2020. We won't know until probably February or March, because whoever gets the contract to pave this portion of 55, they're also going to do this little bit of Fayette too that didn't get done this year because of the new homes. They determine their schedule, so it could be anywhere from 1 May to 1 December. We just don't know. They set the schedule, the contractors do. And, but I will stay on top of that, and when I find out the schedule, I mean, I'll definitely get that.
I just want to make sure that we go through our process, so
Sure.
when that's done, we're not behind the,
Sure.
Right.
May
Yeah.
I request then that we take it to the finance committee to start working on the budget part, so we are ready when the schedule comes out for paving?
Have we got an estimate?
Yes, yes, we
Yeah, I think we do.
have a couple. I do believe we put it out for a couple different estimates, so we should have 3.
Okay, and it was for stamped?
That was for
Asphalt.
stamped concrete, or stamped asphalt,
Okay.
but they then
Good.
did the paint over if we wanted it.
it looks like, just to clarify with Pete, I found the email back on April 30th of last year. Just wanted to let you know that by some coincidence, but the county staff just asked me if we had any sidewalk projects that I wanted to apply for this evening. I told him to add the sidewalk from Haymarket to Heathcote. It's a $2 million project, but I should have enough in the Gainesville trip funds to put up our matching requirement. It may take some time, but now it's an official application. So we just need to keep following up with his office. Where do we stand with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
John, if it's a $2 million project, they got utility issues there, most likely, but
But that's
that
from-
makes sense.
That's from Haymarket to Heathcote, or that's
That
from
was-
Jefferson Street Bridge to Heathcote.
Correct, yes.
So
Yep.
we would still need to put in a new application for Fayette if that's what we're.
Oh, correct, yes, that's, yes, absolutely, yep.
And obviously, that wasn't awarded because their budget cycle's already come and gone.
Correct.
I think Mr.
Yeah.
Carolan just needs to provide us an update.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that as well. I guess with any further ado, we'll go ahead and go with our updates for the Pardo House, we'll refer to it as.
So I reached out to the property owner. I requested that she follow the proper channels to apply for the roof color change. It happens she was actually here over the holidays, and she too visited this site and is in agreement that it is too bright, and she is requesting documentation of the previous color so that she can match that previous color. And so I'm working with her on that to provide old photos so that we can, to the best of our ability, figure out the previous color. She is being very willing to work with us, so that's been very nice to have that received well. And then she is planning to just keep the house the same color as it already is. They took paint chips over from the actual house to the paint store to match that exactly. So she is working on that and is very receptive to the request.
So it'll just go through the ARB once she
Yes.
chooses.
Yes.
The debris in the backyard.
They are working on cleaning all that up, so she does have a contractor that is going to start work back up again. They're also going to be pulling building permits so that they can do some interior work. So it is all going a little bit slower, I think, than originally planned, but it is moving.
Great. Vice Mayor, you had some question? Okay. Our others is our ARB bylaws.
So I just wanted to provide a quick update. The ARB is working through the bylaws. They gave me some suggested edits. I will prepare those. We'll have a final document at our January meeting for them to review. Hopefully everything will look good, and that can be passed on from their hands off to council as necessary.
Okay. All right, I think that's probably ends it for our work session there.
Just
Sure.
a real quick, Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, but if Ms. Pardo is just going back to the original colors, she doesn't need to come to the ARB, is that correct?
That is correct,
Yeah, I just
yes.
want everyone to understand
I
that.
was just wondering about the roof itself, if, whether she needs to come back through for the roof. But
As
if
long
it's gonna
as
be
she
the original
remedies it and
color-
she goes back to the original color, I don't,
Right, as
Am I
long as
correct?
we
Okay.
can find the original color and it satisfies her. The best that we can see from photos right now is that it was a gray shade. So we're trying to determine that, and then that would be an administrative certificate of appropriateness.
Has she given a timeline? I mean, it's commendable that she's moving forward with that. Has she talked kind of a timeline of when she's going to get the place painted, as they're going to move forward with
She
that?
certainly hopes to have it all done by, early to mid-spring, but with the
Oh,
upcoming
nice.
2 weeks of rain,
Yeah.
she's just not sure when she can get all the paint done. So,
temperatures.
weather-
moving, yeah.
weather
Temperatures, too.
permitting
Good.
this year.
Okay.
So.
That's awesome.
All right, great. That ends our work session agenda items. So with,
Motion to adjourn.
there we go. And seconded by Councilman Shannon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll be back at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much.